He got drunk and called me babe. Now his friends think we're dating. What would you do if the person you admired the most, the one who was supposed to guide you, protect you, stay untouchable, suddenly shut the door behind you? Pause. This isn't just a story about basketball practice. This is about boundaries blurring, hearts colliding, and a love that shouldn't have happened, yet did. Welcome to today's BL Webtoon love story, a yaoi manhwa moment where mentorship transforms into forbidden romance. Jaemin has always been the quiet type, not the star athlete, not the loudest voice in the locker room. He's the boy who stays after everyone else leaves, picking up stray basketballs, sweeping the court, folding jerseys no one bothers to fold. To most, he's invisible. But for Jaemin, the empty gym feels safer than the chaos outside. And then there's Coach Seo-jun, coach, mentor, the kind of man whose presence changes the weight of a room without him even moving. He's tall, broad-shouldered, with a voice that could carry across the court even without effort. His commands during practice are sharp, disciplined. Every player listens, no one dares defy. But beyond that strict exterior, Jaemin has seen hints of something softer. The way he lingers behind after every practice until the last student leaves. The way he stoops to pick up water bottles instead of letting them roll away. The way his hands, firm but steady, guide players into better form. At first, their worlds barely touched. Jaemin would sweep in silence, while Seo-jun scribbled notes at his desk, the sound of pen scratching on paper filling the cavernous gym. Sometimes their eyes met briefly, a polite nod, nothing more. Other times, Seo-jun wouldn't look up at all, buried in his notes, while Jaemin lost himself in the repetitive rhythm of sweeping wood. And yet, those silences were never uncomfortable. For Jaemin, they were almost comforting. He didn't know when comfort turned into awareness. It might have been the night when the team stayed late for drills and everyone left but him. Seo-jun had stayed too, leaning against the desk with his jacket slung over the back of his chair, sleeves rolled up to reveal strong forearms that flexed each time he moved. He wasn't looking at Jaemin, but Jaemin couldn't look away. His hands slowed on the broom handle, faltered, trembled, until he forced them steady again. That was when it hit him. That dangerous realization. He was aware of the man in the room, too aware. Now, it happens almost every evening. Jaemin volunteers to stay late, even when he doesn't have to. Something about the way the fluorescent lights hum against the high ceiling, the way his footsteps echo against the polished wood, the way Seo-jun's steady breathing seems to anchor the silence. He craves it. He tells himself it's just the safety of routine. But deep down, he knows better. Seo-jun doesn't treat him like he's invisible. The rest of the team might not notice him, but Seo-jun does. Sometimes the coach walks across the court and pauses beside him. "Your grip's wrong," he says when Jaemin stays to practice free throws after sweeping. His voice is calm, low, deliberate, not scolding, just steady. Seo-jun steps behind him, adjusting his elbows, repositioning his hands on the ball. His chest brushes lightly against Jaemin's shoulder blade, close enough that Jaemin can smell the faint trace of soap and sweat. "Like this," Seo-jun murmurs. The ball leaves Jaemin's hands. It sails cleanly through the hoop. His heart pounds too loudly. Seo-jun smiles faintly, but he doesn't linger. He steps back, folding his arms, and nods for Jaemin to try again, professional, controlled. But Jaemin is left replaying that moment for hours afterward, every brush of contact magnified in his memory. Other times, Seo-jun doesn't say anything at all. He sits at his desk, flipping through strategy papers while Jaemin sweeps in silence. But Jaemin finds himself listening to the tiny details, the scratch of a pen, the click of a clipboard, the sigh when Seojun leans back in his chair. The ordinary sounds become extraordinary in the quiet. The gym, once just a place of routine, has turned into something else, a place where Jaemin feels seen, a place where he can breathe differently. But awareness is dangerous, because every time Seojun adjusts his stance, every time his sleeve brushes against Jaemin's arm, every time their eyes meet across the court, Jaemin feels something building. A question he doesn't dare ask, a weight pressing against the silence. He tells himself it's nothing, that he's imagining it, that Seojun is just being a coach, just being responsible. But then he catches the coach looking at him, really looking, not in passing, not by accident. His gaze lingers a little too long. His eyes soften in ways they never do on the court when the whole team is watching. And Jaemin wonders, does he feel it too? One evening, the gym is almost dark. Practice ended an hour ago. The only light comes from the desk lamp where Seojun sits, the golden glow casting shadows across his face. His jacket lies forgotten over the chair again, sleeves rolled up, veins visible on his forearms as he writes. Jaemin is sweeping slower than usual. Not because the floor isn't clean, but because he doesn't want the night to end. He doesn't want to say goodbye to this silence that feels shared. He doesn't want to step outside into the noise of the world where none of this means anything. The broom slips slightly. He grips it tighter, realizing his hands are trembling again. He shouldn't be this aware. But he is. His chest feels tight, his skin too warm, his thoughts spiraling into places they shouldn't go. Seojun looks up then, catching the pause in his movements. You're distracted, he says simply. Jaemin's throat goes dry. Sorry, he murmurs, shaking his head. Just tired. But Seojun studies him for a moment longer. His gaze is sharp, unreadable. Then he nods slowly, returning to his notes. The silence stretches again, but it's different now. Charged, heavy. Jaemin realizes that maybe, just maybe, he isn't the only one who feels it. And that thought terrifies him, because Seojun isn't just anyone. He's the coach, the mentor, the untouchable figure, the kind of man who isn't supposed to blur the lines. And yet, the line between them feels thinner every day. Maybe that's why Jaemin doesn't mind staying late, why he doesn't mind sweeping alone under the harsh gym lights, knowing Seojun might still be there at his desk. Because in those quiet moments, when the rest of the world fades, Jaemin feels something he doesn't anywhere else. He feels like he belongs, tall, charismatic, a figure of authority who seems larger than life the moment he walks in. His reputation precedes him, strict, disciplined, the kind of coach who pushes players beyond their limits. But Jaemin has noticed the other side too, the side no one talks about. The way Seojun pauses when a younger player looks too exhausted, giving them a subtle nod to rest without embarrassing them. The way he picks up forgotten water bottles and neatly places them aside instead of kicking them away. The way he lingers at the exit until the last student has safely gone home. These are the things no one else notices. To the rest of the team, Coach Seojun is strict, a wall of discipline, a man whose voice can cut across the gym like a whistle. They see the sharp bark of his orders, the critical eye that never seems satisfied, the standards so high they feel unreachable. They complain about it in the locker room, half joking, half serious, calling him the general when they think he can't hear. To them, he is all edges, unyielding, immovable, intimidating. But Jamin sees the other side, because Jamin is always there when no one else is. He is the boy sweeping the court when everyone else has gone home. The boy gathering stray jerseys while the others are laughing in the showers or on their way to late-night snacks. The boy who lingers in the silence, where the tiny details of Seojun's behavior slip through the cracks of his armor. It's in the smallest things. The way his hand doesn't shove but gently folds a towel left on the bench. The way his eyes track the doorway, ensuring every player leaves in pairs or with friends so no one walks home alone. The way his posture softens just slightly when he thinks no one is watching. Jamin watches. He always watches. And because he watches, he begins to notice things he shouldn't. Seojun has habits, rituals. He always rolls his sleeves up the same way, 2 precise folds past the elbow, revealing the curve of his forearms. He always drinks water in slow, measured sips, pausing halfway through practice like clockwork. He always writes in the same sharp handwriting, filling page after page of notes, strategies, diagrams. Sometimes, when Jamin passes close enough while sweeping, he catches glimpses of those notes, arrows, percentages, little reminders scrawled in the margins, not just about the game, but about the players. Jiho tires easily, watch stamina. Sungmin avoids left, needs encouragement, not correction. He notices everything. And that's when Jamin realizes Seojun's strictness isn't cruelty, it's attention, care disguised in discipline, but no one else sees it. They only see the sternness, the control. Jamin, however, begins to see more. Sometimes, when he stays late to shoot a few more baskets, Seojun doesn't send him away. Instead, he lingers too, watching silently from the sidelines, his arms crossed, his expression unreadable. Then after a few minutes, he walks forward. His footsteps echo across the gym floor, steady and deliberate. "Your stance is wrong," he says. Jamin startles, nearly dropping the ball. "So sorry, coach." Seojun shakes his head. "Don't apologize, fix it." He steps closer, positioning himself behind Jamin. His hands hover for a moment, then rest lightly on Jamin's shoulders, adjusting them. His chest is close enough that Jamin feels the warmth radiating from him, close enough that his breath brushes Jamin's ear when he speaks. "Bend your knees, not too much, keep your elbows tight." Jamin's heart is hammering so loudly it drowns out the words, but he does as he's told. He shoots again. The ball arcs cleanly, sinking through the net with a satisfying swish. Seojun's hand lingers just a second too long before pulling back. "Better," he says, his tone flat but softer than usual. Jamin can't stop replaying that moment long after the gym has emptied, long after he's back in his room staring at the ceiling. He tells himself it's just coaching, just correction, nothing more. And yet, his skin tingles where those hands had rested. The awareness grows, night after night. Jamin starts staying later. Sometimes he pretends he's still sweeping, even when the floor is spotless. Sometimes he lingers by the water fountain, taking slow sips he doesn't need. Sometimes he pretends to tie his shoes again, just to steal a few extra minutes in the quiet. Because the quiet isn't empty anymore. The quiet holds Seojun. And in those moments, Seojun is different. Not the general, not the commander, but a man sitting at a desk, hair falling slightly into his eyes as he scribbles notes. A man who sighs when he thinks no one hears. A man who rubs the bridge of his nose like he's carrying the weight of more than just a basketball team. It makes Jamin wonder. Who is Coach Seojun outside of the gym? What does he look like when he isn't wearing the whistle around his neck? Does he laugh easily? Does he ever lose control? That curiosity becomes dangerous, because curiosity feeds the awareness. and the awareness feeds something else. One evening, practice ends late. The other players filter out, laughing, tossing jokes over their shoulders. The gym echoes with their departure until it's just Jaemin and Seojun again. The broom feels heavy in Jaemin's hands. His palms are slick with sweat, though the air isn't hot. He tries to focus on the rhythm of sweeping, on the clean arcs across the floor. But every sense is tuned to Seojun, the scrape of his chair, the soft thud of his pen against the clipboard, the shift of fabric as he leans back. Finally, Seojun speaks. "You don't have to stay every night." Jaemin freezes. His pulse leaps. I don't mind." Seojun's eyes lift from his notes. They pin Jaemin in place, sharp but unreadable. For a heartbeat, neither of them moves. Then Seojun looks away. "Suit yourself." But something in his voice is different. Not dismissal, not annoyance. Something else. Something Jaemin can't name. And that's when he realizes maybe he isn't the only one aware. From then on, the silence between them changes. It's heavier, charged. Every brush of proximity feels magnified. Every shared glance lingers just a little too long. One night, Jaemin finishes sweeping and sets the broom aside. He lingers at the edge of the court, unsure whether to leave. Seojun is still at his desk, head bent over papers, but Jaemin feels the weight of his presence pressing against his back. "Good work today," Seojun says suddenly. The words are simple, ordinary, but they hit Jaemin like a shock. Because Seojun rarely gives praise, his standards are too high, his expectations too strict, but now his tone is softer, almost warm. Jaemin turns, startled. "Thank you, coach." Their eyes meet. Hold. For a moment, the world outside the gym doesn't exist. And Jaemin feels it again. That dangerous thought he's been trying to bury. That maybe, just maybe, he isn't the only one standing too close to the line. It's those small details that pull Jaemin in, that make the coach feel less like an authority figure and more like someone human. And maybe that's why Jaemin doesn't mind staying late, why he doesn't mind sweeping the floor under harsh fluorescent lights, knowing that just a few feet away, Coach Seojun might still be at his desk, scribbling notes, rolling up his sleeves. Because in those moments, when it's just the two of them, existing in parallel silences, Jaemin feels something he can't name, something that both comforts him and terrifies him. It starts small. Sometimes Seojun offers tips, correcting Jaemin's posture, adjusting the angle of his wrist, guiding his form with a hand firm on his shoulder. His voice is low, calm, steady, but close enough that Jaemin feels the warmth of it against his ear. The first time it happens, Jaemin almost forgets to breathe. He'd been shooting alone, missing more than he was making, frustration tightening his chest. Then Seojun's shadow fell across him, long and steady, and a hand came to rest on his shoulder. "Too stiff," Seojun murmured, pressing lightly, guiding the line of his spine. "You're locking your body instead of letting it flow." The correction was simple. The words were ordinary. But the closeness, the scent of soap still lingering from practice, the quiet authority in his voice, the heat radiating from his body made Jaemin's skin prickle, as if every nerve had awakened at once. He shot again, swish, clean through the net. "Better," Seojun said. His hand lingered just a fraction of a second too long before pulling away, and that was all it took. From that day forward, Jaemin found himself chasing that moment. The brush of a hand correcting his elbow, the low voice offering a quiet tip, the subtle weight of being seen, not as invisible, not as the boy in the background, but as someone worth guiding. Other times, they don't speak at all. Heseo-jun sits at his desk, pen scratching over a clipboard, while Jae-min sweeps the gym floor. The sound of bristles against polished wood fills the air, steady and rhythmic, until it becomes a kind of heartbeat. A heartbeat that pulses louder with every second of silence. But this silence isn't empty. It's heavy, thick with things unsaid, with awareness neither of them names aloud. Jae-min pretends not to notice, but every nerve in his body knows exactly where Seo-jun is. The scrape of his chair, the faint sigh as he leans back, the shift of his weight when he stretches, muscles flexing beneath rolled-up sleeves. Sometimes Jae-min wonders if Seo-jun feels it too, because if the silence were just silence, it wouldn't feel like this. It wouldn't feel like standing on the edge of something dangerous. Nights bleed together like this. The gym becomes their world. The fluorescent lights overhead cast everything in pale gold, the sound of the city muffled beyond the high windows. The other players have gone, their laughter fading into distance, leaving only two figures behind, one boy sweeping, one man writing. Sometimes Jae-min catches Seo-jun looking up from his notes, just a flicker, a quick glance, but it makes his chest tighten every time. He tells himself it's nothing. The coaches watch their players, even after practice, but it doesn't feel like nothing. One night, the silence stretches so long that Jae-min feels it pressing into his lungs. He sets the broom aside, his palms damp against the wooden handle, and picks up a ball instead. Dribbles it once, twice, the sound echoing sharp against the empty gym. Seo-jun doesn't look up. Jae-min swallows, lifts the ball, and shoots. It clatters against the rim, bouncing away. He hurries after it, embarrassed. Then, your wrist. The voice is quiet, but it carries across the gym like a ripple. Jae-min freezes, the ball cradled in his hands. Slowly, he turns. Seo-jun is watching him now, pen stilled in his hand. You're flicking too late, he says, standing. His chair scrapes against the floor as he pushes it back. Come here. Jaemin's heart stutters. His legs move before his mind can catch up, carrying him towards the coach who towers just slightly above him. Seo-jun takes the ball from his hands, spinning it once in his palm. Watch. He demonstrates a shot smooth and effortless. The ball arcs cleanly through the net. He retrieves it and hands it back. Now you. Jae-min nods, his throat dry. He shoots again. This time, the ball sails wide. Seo-jun steps closer. Relax. His voice is low, calm. He reaches out, adjusting Jaemin's grip. His fingers brush against Jaemin's, firm but not rough. Like this. The world narrows to that single point of contact. Jaemin's pulse roars in his ears. He doesn't dare look up. Doesn't dare meet Seo-jun's eyes. Try again. He shoots. The ball arcs high, and this time it swishes cleanly through the net. Better, Seo-jun says. His hand rests briefly on Jaemin's shoulder, warm, grounding before falling away. But Jae-min feels it long after it's gone. After that night, corrections become routine. Seo-jun doesn't offer them often, never more than a few words, never more than a brief touch, but each one burns itself into Jaemin's memory. The low murmur of his voice at his ear, the way his hand guides without forcing, the steadiness of his presence both comforting and terrifying, and the silences grow heavier. Some nights they stretch so long that Jae-min feels like he might suffocate under their weight. He sweeps slower, dragging out the moments, hoping for a word, a glance, anything to break the tension. But Seo-jun stays quiet, head bent over his notes until Jae-min can't tell if the pounding in his chest is fear or longing. One evening, the air feels different, thicker somehow, charged. Jae-min is sweeping near the bleachers when his broom slips, clattering against the wood. He startles, fumbling to catch it. The noise echoes, shattering the quiet. Seojun looks up, their eyes meet. Something flickers there, something sharp, something unreadable. Jaemin's breath catches. For a heartbeat, neither of them moves. The silence is so heavy it feels like the air might break beneath it. Then Seojun stands. His footsteps echo as he crosses the court, slow and deliberate. Jaemin's hands tighten on the broom handle, his pulse racing. "You sweep too hard," Seojun says finally, his tone unreadable. He stops just a step away, close enough that Jaemin can feel the warmth radiating from him. "You'll wear the bristles out." Jaemin swallows hard, nodding. Sorry, coach." Seojun's gaze lingers on him for a moment longer. Then, with a faint sigh, he reaches out, steadying the broom in Jaemin's trembling hands. His fingers brush against Jaemin's, deliberate this time. Not correction, not necessity. Contact. And for a split second, Jaemin thinks he sees it. Something unspoken in Seojun's eyes, something that mirrors the storm inside his own chest. But just as quickly, it's gone. Seojun steps back, his voice cool again. "Go home, it's late." Jaemin nods, but his legs feel like they might give out. He gathers his things slowly, every movement heavy, drawn out. He wants to say something, anything, but the words lodge in his throat. As he leaves the gym, he glances back. Seojun is still standing there watching. And for the first time, Jaemin isn't sure if the silence between them belongs to him alone. But silence has a way of revealing what words try to hide. One evening, after practice runs late, the gym is nearly empty. The air feels heavier somehow, the kind of stillness that makes every sound sharper. Jaemin moves across the court with the broom, but his hands tremble slightly against the handle. He tightens his grip, willing himself to focus, and then he looks up. Seojun is at his desk, hunched slightly forward, pen scratching against the clipboard. His brows furrow, his sleeves rolled high, the muscles of his forearms flexing with each shift of his wrist. The sight makes Jaemin's throat dry. He shouldn't notice these things. He shouldn't let himself. But awareness floods him anyway. He sweeps slower, almost stalling, almost waiting. And then Seojun looks up. Their eyes meet across the empty court. For a moment, neither looks away. The distance between them feels charged, electric, as though the very air is pulsing. Seojun breaks the silence first. "You don't have to stay so late every day," he says, voice even, though his gaze lingers longer than it should. Jaemin swallows. "I don't mind." A pause. The faintest smile tugs at Seojun's lips. "You're different, Jaemin." The words hit harder than they should. Different. Not invisible. Seen. From that night on, things shift. Seojun starts noticing Jaemin more, asking him to stay behind for one-on-one drills, correcting his form more often, letting his hands linger a little longer, standing a little closer than necessary. And Jaemin notices too, the way Seojun's gaze flickers, not quite coach-like. The way his tone softens just slightly when he speaks to him compared to others. It's subtle, it's careful, but it's there, until the night that changes everything. Practice ends. The team filters out, the gym grows quiet. Jaemin lingers, broom in hand, waiting for the courage to leave, or to stay. Seojun watches him from the desk, silent, unreadable. When the last sound fades, Seojun stands, slowly, deliberately. He walks across the court, his footsteps echoing in the empty space. Jaemin's heart pounds louder with every step, and then Seojun reaches the door. He pushes it shut. The heavy click echoes like a secret sealing itself. Jaemin freezes, the broom slips slightly in his grip. Seojun turns back, his eyes locked on him. No smile this time, just intensity. Why do you stay, Jamin? His voice is low, weighted. Jamin's lips part, but no words come. His chest feels tight, his pulse racing. He doesn't know what to say, doesn't know how much of the truth he can afford to let slip. Seojun steps closer, slow, steady, every inch narrowing the space between them until Jamin can feel the warmth radiating from him. You don't have to pretend, Seojun murmurs. The words hang heavy in the air, dangerous, forbidden, true. The moment feels suspended in time. Jamin's breath catches as Seojun lifts a hand, brushing a strand of hair away from his forehead. The touch is soft, too soft for a coach, too soft for the distance they're supposed to keep, and yet Jamin doesn't pull away. Their eyes lock, and in them, Jamin sees the truth. Seojun has been holding back just as he has. Coach, Jamin whispers, the word trembling on his lips. Seojun leans in, just enough that their foreheads nearly touch. His voice is a whisper now, rough and raw. Tell me to stop. But Jamin doesn't. The silence between them becomes its own answer. And then, it happens. The space closes. Seojun's lips brush against Jamin's, tentative at first, then deeper, fuller, as though years of restraint are unraveling in a single moment. The kiss is fire and fear and longing all at once. Jamin's heart hammers so loudly he thinks the whole gym can hear it. When they finally part, breathing hard, the world feels changed. The court is the same, the walls are the same, but nothing between them is the same anymore. After that night, nothing returns to normal. Practices continue. Teammates laugh and shout as though nothing's changed. But in the quiet moments, when the gym is empty, when the broom is in Jamin's hand, when the door clicks shut, everything is different. Jamin knows this is dangerous. He knows it's complicated, but he also knows something else. Sometimes love doesn't wait for the right time, the right place, the right permission. Sometimes it simply happens, unexpected, unstoppable. And in those moments, when it's just him and Seojun, Jamin feels like he belongs. What do you think of this forbidden love story? Pause. Was it heartwarming, emotional, or bittersweet? Comment below. Let us know your reaction. Sweet, emotional, or dangerous, but beautiful. And don't forget, subscribe for more BL webtoon love stories, yaoi manhwa romances, and dramatic story breakdowns.